Gaming everywhere, and not a thing to play. Gaming has a hype problem. If you were to look into many areas of the internet gaming ecosphere, you would be forgiven for thinking that we were in a drought, with one of the worst years for gaming ever. Now before I get into it, I do want to say that for some, this was one of the worst years for games ever, with continued mass layoffs from some of the most profitable companies on the planet threatening livelihoods and doing their best to dismantle the very foundation of what makes this hobby so great in the constant chase for maximum quick profits. And yet, in terms of releases, video games seems to be healthier than ever. Even from a cursory glance at the Wikipedia for this year in gaming, I count around 70 big releases that, with a level head, would blow my favourite year for games, 2007, out of the water. Imagine saying we've got nothing exciting going on when our lineup this year is included, or is due to include, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Rift of the Necrodancer, Civilization 7, 2 new Obsidian RPGs in Avowed and Outer Worlds 2, Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, Monster Hunter Wilds, 2 Point Museum, Split Fiction, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Xenoblade Chronicles X, Bleach Rebirth of Souls, Breakout Beyond, Atomfall, The First Berserker Kazan, South of Midnight, Blue Prince, Monaco 2, Star Overdrive, Monument Valley 3, Oblivion Remastered, Clair Obscura Expedition 33, Palia, Doom the Dark Ages, Fantasy Life I, Monster Train 2, Elden Ring Night Rain, Deltarune Chapter 3+4, Fast Fusion, Mario Kart World, Dune Awakening, Peak, Date Everything, FBC Firebreak, Death Stranding 2, Tony Hawk's 3+4, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Shadow Labyrinth, Is This Seat Taken, Mafia the Old Country, The Rogue Prince of Persia, Metal Gear Solid Delta, Super Robot Wars Y, Hollow Knight Silk Song, Chronos the New Dawn, Demon X Machina, Everybody's Golf Hot Shots, Borderlands 4, Lego Voyagers, Hades 2, Silent Hill F, Sonic Racing Crossworlds, Tokyo Extreme Racer, Final Fantasy Tactics, Lego Party, Ghost of Yotais, Digimon Story, Yukari Playly, Little Nightmares 3, Ball Pit, Pokemon Legends Z-A, Ninja Gaiden 4, Jurassic World Evolution 3, Once Upon a Katamari, Mina the Hollower, Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, Unbeatable, Lumines Arise, Kirby Air Riders, and Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, and that's just the stuff that floats to the surface for me. There'll be lots more that I don't even know about. Big games that I'm not even aware of, and yet there's 70 I'm able to reel off like that. All of that in the space of a year. If you were to look at that and not find plenty to get excited or enjoyment out of, there may be something wrong with you. Though there may be something wrong with all of us, because I'm being a hypocrite. I've been that person who's looked at all of that and said, there's no games coming out right now. There's something wrong, and that something is hype. People who are really into games have become accustomed to having their dopamine triggers pressed on the regular. But if you've been playing games for a long time, it will get harder and harder to excite you because you've seen it all. Games won't be hitting that dopamine as hard because, oh, I've played this sort of thing before. As you flounder looking for the thing that's going to make you feel the way you did when you were younger and had more surprises in store, you will find yourself turning not to just playing games, but to looking for them and expecting them. You'll turn to hype. The hype of new games has always been around, to be fair. E3, a big video games advertisement showcase held in early summer each year, would often be described as gaming Christmas, because of all the fun, shiny new toys you'll be shown that you'll be able to buy in the nearish future, and sometimes the quite far off future. Companies would bank their entire year on having a good showing here, and gamers would get frenzied with excitement at what would be shown. But as companies have moved away from these huge press conferences at this one event, they've gained more control of their own messaging and are now in a position to share gaming announcements in their own time, on their own terms, all year round. Suddenly that gaming Christmas has gone from a one-time burst of excitement and announcements to a minor holiday on par with Valentine's Day. And now a bunch more holidays have cropped up, where any given month will seem to have its own announcement stream of games. If you are someone who keeps up with gaming news for all platforms, you will be in a constant state of expectation, mandated by games media and your online brethren to be looking forward to the next thing without enjoying what you currently have, and it will never seem enough. Now, these hype events aren't providing the excitement we need either. Nintendo just released a 60-minute direct feed of announcements, its longest ever, entirely on games releasing in just the next few months. 40 games were shown, and yet the excitement is minimal. If anything, People are annoyed about it because it didn't show them what they so desperately wanted but didn't know they actually wanted. So what do we do when the events that are meant to get us excited don't? We start getting hyped up for the hype events themselves. Now internet personalities are building entire careers on trying to become leakers, revealing what advertisements are coming our way before the dates for the advertisements have even been announced. Message boards fill up with hundreds of thousands of posts per day in the lead up to events that haven't even been mentioned by the companies hosting them yet, as users talk about what they've heard or what they think is going to be announced. It's not a healthy situation, and essentially ensures that people don't stick with or remember the games that are actually out and here. It also ensures that whatever gets announced is never enough. No amount of one more thing will be sufficient, as expectations aren't managed. While we want everything to be here now, we also want everything to be coming in the future, to be looked forward to. Nothing will be able to scratch the itch that you've hyped yourself up with, and I know because I've been there recently. I've been the guy who said there's no new games, there's nothing exciting. I've been the guy who says I'm just going to play Fortnite all the time because at least that's comforting despite being the video game equivalent of a huge bag of popcorn. We're in a continued golden age of banger after banger. Games are as good or better than they've ever been, especially if you look beyond the highest profile of releases. And yet nobody is happy. Don't get me wrong, I would love for Nintendo to have announced a new Animal Crossing and a new Zelda. I do think the Direct would have been boosted by moving away from just the immediate future to giving us a glimpse of games that are a fair distance away. I do think that having a couple of games to hold on to that become excitement pieces in and of themselves is good and keeps expectations in check. I know Nintendo would rather not give a release date for a new Zelda only to have to keep delaying it like they did with Breath of the Wild and Metroid Prime 4. But I do think there is something to be said to have that to hold on to. If we knew going into each of these events that they have already announced some of these huge games we're expecting, that they're some ways off and that we may only get incremental updates on them, that would give everything else a bit more breathing space and potentially avoid the sense of disappointment when the thing that's going to change our life doesn't get announced. That doesn't help with the overhype problem, but it might keep it in check. But how do we fix it completely? I don't think we can. I think the change to the way that we consume media has massively impacted how we engage with this sort of stuff. Even in just gaming terms itself, Game Pass providing access to hundreds of games at any one time means that a game that pushes back against you and causes friction means that you're less likely to stick with a game that doesn't immediately gel with you. Fortnite solidified this Battle Pass model and turned games from something you work through for the personal achievements to a skin-a-box grindfest which tricks you into a sense of progression each time you load up the game. And when other games don't provide that same easy sense of progression, you bounce off of them. This approach to how we engage with games means that the way we engage with the excitement of games also changes. We need everything to hit very specific hype factors in our brain, the hype we experienced in the olden days when we didn't know everything that was going on. And when they don't, because they can't, we end up in a cycle of dissatisfaction. Perhaps the broad fix is to shut down the cycle of hype that happens outside of the official announcements. What use is a gaming leaks and rumours Reddit when the amount of misinformation on there only causes people to be unhappy with what they actually get? The fame or infamy from being a known internet leaker leads people to just make stuff up. The only fix for this is to intentionally not engage with it, or to burn it all to the ground, and good luck getting that to happen. Maybe that's unfair, but think to yourself, what good does arguing about what games a company is bringing out actually bring you? What benefit has a Switch Force or a Nate the Hate actually brought to the gaming landscape other than creating out of control expectations? Why is it good to get hyped for an announcement and then to be upset that the announcement wasn't what we wanted it to be? Games are still coming out, and just because our favourite isn't there, why get sad about that? I think in our want to see behind the curtain of making games, the magic behind all of our best experiences, we've seen the wrong bit. We've seen that we can see through the looking glass in the inner workings of a company and drawn the conclusion that the only thing we need to see is that company's plans for the gaming future. Could you imagine being this way about board games? Or a supermarket's Christmas food catalogue? I couldn't. And by being this way about video games, we end up ruining the fun of what is meant to be a fun hobby for ourselves. Switch off escape the hype, enjoy what you have, and learn patience. You'll feel better for it. Believe me.